We return to Stirrup Speedway for round 3 of the Virtual Drift Championship. Crazy altitude changes and many wall runs make this layout one of the driver's favourites. The short straight leads into a very fast entry, where judges prefer a flick or a clutch kick entry through clip 1. Maintain a midline to clipping point 2 so you can carry that momentum into the first inner clipping point 3. Make sure to not drop a wheel off clip 4, as will hinder the speed and momentum required to transition into the clip 5. This wall is dangerous, but carry big angle will be crucial to set up for the final transition into the final wall clip 6. Run the wall to the end of the zone and maintain that arc to the final clipping point 7 with full throttle and as much angle as possible across the finish line. So qualifying in general is quite important, obviously, but at Stirrup it's probably even more important. This track requires lots of commitment, and those walls, they don't make it easy by any means. You've got no room for error, so if you really do attack those walls, it does show to the judges you have a lot of commitment, you're willing to take risks. Again, it's just important to make sure you get 2 really good runs in to make sure you make the show, first of all, but also to get a really good bracket. So for these 2 runs, run number 1 is our 90.7 run, and run number 2 is our 92.7. I must say they're actually very, very similar, but there's a couple of mistakes that we do in the first run was the reason why our score was lower, and I don't really know where I could do much better in the second run, if I'm honest. But as we head here into the inner clipping point, everything up until now is pretty much the same, maybe a little bit more angle in the second run. We have a bit of a wobble in the first run here on the wall, but we actually also tap the wall right there as well in the first run, which hinders our angle. And you can see on the transition here that we're a bit more committed on the first run maybe, but overall they're very, very similar runs. And so for the difference of 2 points, I think a wall contact kind of makes sense, but I find it hard to believe that I could do much better in those 2 runs, all things considering. So at the end we end up finishing 4th in qualifying with our 92.7. not too bad at the end, but would have liked to do a little bit better. Obviously we qualified first in the first 2 rounds of VDC so far, so 4th place. I can't be too harsh myself, but I always like to do better, and yeah, we'll try and do better next round. So for top 32, we'll go up against CORMAC GARDE, who's from Ireland, my fellow Irishman. Irish drifters are amazing drivers, guys. You know, obviously I'm Irish, so I might be alright, but he's pretty good too. And you know, he's also part of the Zinky gang. So yeah, he's a pretty cool car too, I suppose. Got so many quality top tier drivers in the same and also in the real world as well. They're from Ireland. Can't really sleep on them, so I knew I had to push hard. First run here of me leading is on the top, and one thing I want to take note here is look at the gap that we have on entry over CORMAC. We have initiated through clip 1, he hasn't even initiated yet, and if we look at our chase run, we're right there with him. So yeah, massive gap from CORMAC on the initiation. I think he slept a little on the light, and it really messed him up for the remainder of the run. And we're still with him on my chase run. We're actually pushing him around the place here. We're not dooring him so much, and he finally catches up on the final corner here in his chase run. But it was too late for CORMAC by that stage. The battle had already been set. All I had to do in my chase run was do a pretty clean run, which is what we did. We did our clean lead run. He made a mistake in his chase run. He was too far away from us. We made sure in our chase run we were right there with him, and it was enough for us to get the win and move on into the top 60. So a familiar face for top 16, we up against KAZUKI FUKUSHI. We actually went up against KAZUKI in the last round of VDC at round 2 in Riga in the top 16, so it's a very familiar face again. He's Toyota Celica, obviously a very cool car, but heading into this battle again, gotta push hard, make sure not to sleep with KAZUKI. He's a very talented driver. Maybe his ping is hindering him sometimes, but we leading in here, and we're carrying a decent amount of angle. He's right there with us. Look at me in the chase position though. We're not really pushing him. If anything, right now KAZUKI's doing a better job in the chase position, and we're transitioning aggressively into the door here. A really aggressive transition. We're running the wall in our lead run. We're chasing him nicely in our chase run, and we're kind of taking a little few risks here and there. A bit of a gap forms, but we close up the door nicely across the finish line. KAZUKI drops really badly in his chase run across the final inner clipping point, and I feel like that inner clipping point dirt drop that he did in the final chase run was really kind of set the differences in our chase runs. You know, he had a little bit more aggression but made a few more mistakes. We were a little bit more consistent and didn't really make that many mistakes. And I feel like overall I think we might have done a better job in the chase position. I feel like in the lead positions we were quite the same, but ultimately we end up getting the win and moving on into the top 8. So for our top 8 battle, we'll go up against Brandon Patrick in his FFF drifting department Ferrari 599 Ferrella. Yeah, there we go. That Federico Sacchefero drives in Formula E. I'm sorry, Federico. Anyway, so he drives for Federico's esports team, so this is obviously a very tough battle. Again, Brandon, a really great driver coming from Forza, one of the JSI guys that would be coming from Forza in general. So really talented driver in the Ferrari 599, really fast car this year. You can't really sleep on him, but heading into here in this battle, We're leading in Brandon. Brandon tucks in nicely behind us on an entry, and this car, man, you should see Brandon when he's in his cockpit view. It's super smooth steering, and you can see from when he transitions here behind us, as he was right on our door, super smooth, predictable transition behind us. And a little hesitation there on that final transition. We're doing a really strong lead run here, guys. We're really pushing it, utilizing all the zones. Maybe a little tad off the wall there. It was probably our first time we've left that wall a little early, but we pull a tad little gap across the finish line. Now if we switch positions this time, myself to chase in Brandon Patrick. Brandon leads us in, he goes for a flick initiation. We flick in nicely behind him. A bit of a hesitation for me in the chase position. That's something I'm going to have to fix in the future, I feel like. But we're right there with him all the way. A little tighter on the inner clip we were as we transition here behind him. A very aggressive transition. He over-rotates a little bit of angle. We give him a little tap on the rear wheels. But he's right there on the wall, and we're pushing him all the way across to the final transition here. And Brandon has to take it back to the finish line, but we're right there with him all the way to the finish line. We're giving him a little tire mark across the Ferrari 599's door, and you know what, that was enough for us to take the win there. I feel like we had a little bit more aggression over Brandon with a few less mistakes, and I feel like the judges saw that and they really wanted to give us the win. And so with that, we move on into the top 4. So this is where things get spicy when we move into the top 4. We go up against Tikhon Pilecki in his Fresh Auto Esports S14. Tikhon, fantastic driver. We've gone back and forth over the last couple of years of winning championships. Tikhon has not had a great year this year, and this particular round, he was on fire. Since qualifying, all of his battles, he wasn't giving an inch to anyone. And I think it's quite evident when you watch his lead run here, how much commitment he's leading in. Now, one thing I want to take note here, I felt like he sat at the line a little too long. We'll show that again afterwards, but let's just look at the run as it is. And as you can see, we dropped 2, maybe 3 wheels off there, and that was the end of our chase run at that point. He had such a huge advantage after that mistake that we made, and he makes no mistakes for the remainder of the run. He was actually rubbing the wall all the way here. We're right on his door after we catch up, but it was a little too late for us. We made that massive mistake on clipping point 2, and as we match his angle, we match his line all the way to the finish line. Yeah, a little too late. As we switch positions, there's not much more I can do here, right? You know, Tikhon has all the power in the world here to make this happen for himself, and he takes huge amount of risk. He gets right up onto our front wheel. He pushes us through clipping point 2, and all I can do here is just do my best lead run and try and, I know, hope that maybe Tikhon tries to match us in places and makes a mistake or something. You know, I could do some brake checking, I could do a lot of things here, but it's not really worth it. I would get in trouble for that, and it makes me look bad. And so Tikhon pulls an amazing chase run. I don't know why he put so much risk into this after he had such a huge advantage. I feel like that's the difference between Tikhon and I. When we have a battle and we push each other really, really hard, and let's say if Tikhon makes a mistake, I know he makes a mistake, I drive like 9/10, maybe 8/10, because it's not worth me throwing the battle for pushing too hard. Tikhon on the hand, he doesn't care. He just pushes 10/10 regardless, and I have to give him immense respect for that, because he takes risks, and sometimes it doesn't pay off, but sometimes it does, and it looks amazing regardless. After that battle, I don't really think there's much to say, but he does get to win and move on. Let's move on into the final third, fourth place playoff versus Alexander Seryuk in his Ferrari 599. This time again we're chasing in Alexander Seryuk. He's changed the Ferrari 599 for this season after driving an S14 for so many years, and this run, I'll be honest guys, this is probably some of my worst driving. I'm not really impressed with any of this, but we did have the aggression, and I think I was happy with my aggression, but I was just making mistakes I didn't make all day. I wasn't in the right mindset after that battle with Tikhon. I wasn't very impressed by what he did in lead run, but at the end of the day, I made the mistakes chasing Alexander here, and you know what, it was enough for Alexander to do a really decent job in the lead position. We do a really aggressive chase run, but we're just making a few too many mistakes, and all Alexander really has to do in the chase position here is just do a clean, consistent chase run and not really give up too much I suppose space in any area or any proximity in any area. So and that's exactly what he does. He's not as aggressive here on initiation, but he's following our line. He's pretty much matching our angle. Wouldn't say 1-to-1, but he's pretty close, and he's a really nice transition here into us, here into the clip 5 here as we run along the wall. We're putting up the best lead run that we possibly can here, and all he's doing is just following us around the place. He's doing a really clean job here, pretty clinical. But you know, we made the mistakes in the chase position. You could probably argue that it could have gone one more time, maybe, if you really wanted to stretch it in our favor, but I felt like that he did a pretty decent job, and I don't think it was worth going one more time. I think he did a good enough job to get that third place in this podium. And yeah, we unfortunately finished fourth for this particular round of VDC. So yeah, round 3 of VDC at Stirrup Raceway did not go to plan for us. We finished fourth. Would have liked to do a little bit better, but obviously we can't have it go our way all the freaking time. But we've been doing pretty good so far, and I can't argue with that. We currently now drop back to second in points in the championship. We're now about 20 points behind Zach O'Sullivan, who finished second. Yeah, and Tegan is back in the fight again. He's 187 points or something in third place. So big fight on the hands right now. We got to make sure we stay consistent throughout the remainder of the season. Try and get another win, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins maybe, and we'll see where we end up at the very end. That's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we will talk to you guys very soon. Cheers and goodbye.